Welcome to Motive of Matter, where neuroscience meets the criminal mind. Here, we explore the psychological and neurological elements that may shape extreme human behavior. Not to excuse, but to understand. Before we begin, please be advised that this episode contains sensitive content, including mentions of suicide, childhood abuse, sexual assault, and violence and animal cruelty. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome. Today's episode takes us inside the case of Ed Kemper, a highly intelligent killer whose motive began with his mother. Edmund Emil Kemper III was born on December 18, 1948, in Burbank, California. From the outside, his childhood appeared typical. But there's one detail, often overlooked, that may have quietly shaped the rest of Ed Kemper's life: a blow to the head at age 5. As a child, Kemper was struck by a swing, reportedly knocked unconscious, and began experiencing blackouts in the months that followed. He would later describe those early years as confusing, sometimes dissociative, with gaps in memory and emotional numbness. While no formal brain scans were conducted, doctors at Atascadero State Hospital later referenced this trauma in their evaluations. Dissociation, impulse control issues, and fantasy preoccupation were all observed, symptoms often linked to early frontal lobe damage. In neuroscience, this matters. Childhood head trauma has been linked to increased aggression, poor emotional regulation, and detachment from consequences, especially when paired with emotional abuse. In Kemper's case, it may have been the first fracture in a mind already shaped by rejection. But underneath, the foundations of severe emotional fracture were already forming. Kemper's parents divorced when he was 9. His relationship with his mother, Clarnell Strandberg, became deeply abusive. She belittled him, locked him in a basement for punishment, and reportedly told him no woman would ever love him. He said,
"She would sit me down and tell me that I reminded her of my father, and that was a curse."
For Ed, isolation, rejection, and emotional trauma were daily occurrences. By age 10, he was already fantasizing about violence. Kemper exhibited disturbing behaviors during childhood. He killed his pet cat, decapitated another, and began obsessing over death and control. Dr. Catherine Ramsland, forensic psychologist, said, "Early cruelty to animals is often a precursor to violent offending. It's not about the act, it's about the power dynamic." At just 15, Kemper ran away from his mother's home and went to live with his paternal grandparents. That same year, he murdered both of them, shooting his grandmother first, stating,
"To see what it felt like."
He was sent to Atascadero State Hospital for the criminally insane. Psychiatrists described him as articulate and intelligent, with an IQ of 145. Diagnosis: schizoid tendencies with psychopathic features, but capable of manipulation. Kemper told clinicians what they wanted to hear, and he was released at 21. Between 1972 and 1973, Kemper murdered 6 young women. He would pick up hitchhikers around Santa Cruz, drive them to remote areas, and kill them, often with strangulation or gunshot. But the horror didn't stop at murder. Kemper mutilated the bodies, decapitated several victims, and engaged in acts of necrophilia. He later described these actions in disturbingly calm detail, showing little emotional disturbance as he recounted them. Everything changed in April 1973. Kemper murdered his mother, Clarnell, while she slept. He bludgeoned her with a claw hammer, decapitated her, and placed her vocal cords in the garbage disposal. He said in the interview,
"She always had to have the last word. This time, there were none."
He then called her best friend to the house and killed her as well, staging it as a double suicide. Kemper drove for days before finally turning himself in, calling police from a payphone. Kemper's intellect, articulate speech, and willingness to discuss his crimes have made him one of the most studied serial killers in history. He doesn't fit the stereotype of the deranged madman. He's logical, composed, and insightful, which is precisely what makes him so unsettling, said Dr. Al Carlisle, clinical psychologist. Kemper was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, possible borderline traits, and strong signs of covert narcissism. Thank you for listening and watching. I'm truly grateful to have you here. Until next time.
If we want to prevent future violence, we must confront the science, not shy away from it. We study the brain, not to justify, but to intervene, before it's too late. If this episode gave you a deeper understanding of what drives the mind behind the crime, please consider subscribing. Motive of Matter will continue to explore criminal psychology with empathy, ethics, and evidence. New episodes every week. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.